Good afternoon and welcome to Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell. I'm Santosh Nair.
And I'm Yatin Mota.
It was huge sell-off in the market ahead of expiry of the current month FNO settlement. The Sensex and Nifty shedding close to about 1.5% each. Mid-caps also ended in the red, although they fared slightly better than their frontline counterparts. Adani stocks were in the limelight, most Adani stocks getting hammered yet again today. There was a brief lull, but once again today the bears seem to have taken over the Adani stocks. And among the sectoral indices, barring the FMCG indices where the losses were slightly lower, most other sectoral indices closed deeply in the red. And the India Volatility Index shot up sharply by about 12% and is now above 15. And among the prominent gainers today, just a handful of them, we had ITC, Divi's Lab and Bajaj Auto. While among the prominent Nifty losers of the day, we had Adani Enterprises, which was down by around 10%. Adani Ports was also down by about close to 6%. And we had Grasim, JSW Steel and Mahindra among the other prominent losers of the day.
एब्सोल्युटली सेंटो, कल जो निफ्टी की एक्सपायरी है फरवरी महीने की, उसके पहले एक बड़ा सेल ऑफ और बहुत ही कंसर्निंग है सेल ऑफ, क्योंकि 200 पॉइंट 250 पॉइंट नीचे बजट डे का लो था. सो बजट के बाद एक रिकवरी हमने देखी थी. अदानी और हिंडनबर्ग के इशू के वजह से थोड़ा बहुत मार्केट में तभी पैनिक था, लेकिन उसके बाद मार्केट ने एक कमबैक किया, अच्छे से बाजार रैली हुई. लेकिन सेंटो, अदानी ग्रुप के अलावा भी अगर आप देखें तो बहुत ही बड़ी सेलिंग आपको बैंकिंग स्टॉक्स में दिखाई पड़ी है, विच इज़ 40% ऑफ निफ्टी वेट. एंड इफ यू लुक एट बिग बॉयज लाइक रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज ऑल्सो, यू नो, दे हैव बीन रियली स्ट्रगलिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ द शेयर प्राइस मूव्स. तो क्लियरली एक डिसअपॉइंटिंग ट्रेडिंग सेशन बाजार के लिए. आज भी लगभग 2.25% रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज नीचे था. इफ यू लुक एट द PSU बैंक्स, द लाइक्स ऑफ बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा, SBI, यहाँ भी आपको एक बड़ी कट आती हुई नजर पड़ रही है. तो बैंक्स बीइंग द मेन कल्प्रिट, बिकॉज ऑफ विच वी हैव सीन सच अ बिग गैश बोथ ऑन द निफ्टी बैंक एज वेल एज द निफ्टी. तो क्लियरली सेंटो, थोड़ा बहुत डिसअपॉइंटिंग आज का ट्रेडिंग सेशन.
That is, if you look at it from the bull's perspective, probably the bears are sitting on a lot of money today. But that said, Yatin, a massive sell-off just a day ahead of expiry.
Yes.
How does it typically tend to influence the expiry day then?
So, सेंटो, 17,700 17,800 एक ऐसी बैंड थी जहां हम लोग इंट्राडे में डिप्स देते थे और वहां से बाजार रिकवर हो जाती थी. और वहां से स्ट्रगल करते करते हुए हमने बजट डे का हाई क्रॉस किया, 18,000 के ऊपर डिसाइसिवली मूव किया. एक्सपेक्टेशन ये थी कि ये एक्सपायरी में बुल्स कंट्रोल में रहेंगे, लेकिन वो 17,700 का इंपॉर्टेंट लेवल ब्रेक करके आज 17,550 पे बंद हुआ है. मेरे हिसाब से 17,500 एक ऐसा जोन है जहां बुल्स बाजार को सपोर्ट करने की ट्राई करेंगे. होपफुली कल बाजार इतनी जो गिरावट है उतनी गिरावट एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं है, गिवन द पोजिशनिंग ऑफ द कॉल्स एंड पुट ऑप्शंस. बट दैट कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी अपार्ट, आई थिंक 17,500 इज द मार्क आई विल बी लुकिंग एट, बिकॉज उसके नीचे अगर बाजार कल एक्सपायरी दिन को गया और वहां उसके नीचे सेटल होने की कोशिश की, तो probably we can lose another 200-300 points in a matter of time.
Well, that interesting coverage today, I saw it on the hours, about some players trying to manipulate the put call ratio by buying huge. How does that work roughly?
So, you know, Santo, जो put call ratio होता है उससे आपको बाजार की पोजिशनिंग पता चलती है. When you know the put call ratio is above 1, it means that market is on the overbought side or probably, you know, bulls are in control. And when the PCR goes below 1, you know, the bears or probably the market tends to be oversold, and 0.6, 0.7 is the level at which usually that overselling stops or the market tries to consolidate. By buying out of the money call option, put option, say for example, if the market is at 17,500 and if you buy or sell out of the money call options, put options, say at the 16,500 band and 18,500 band, it usually gives a wrong picture to traders. And you know, people who really look at PCR as a data point or as a measure at which, you know, traders would like to move their positions, that gets distorted. So you know, sometimes a lot of these FIs and big hedge funds or, you know, large funds, they tend to distort the market by buying on the extreme ends of the option market, which probably puts a very wrong picture of the PCR ratio and the market open interest.
Now that the secret is in the open, probably it might not work as well as it used to do in the past. Well, and on that note, let's move on to the stocks on our watch list this afternoon, starting with Container Corporation of India. The stock has been steadily losing ground since the start of this year. It's already down by a little over 18% compared to a roughly 3.5% decline in the Nifty. Now, third quarter numbers of Concor were lower than what the market was expecting. Mainly, the stress is there on the EXIM part of the business, which is also the mainstay, and outlook overall on export import remains slightly subdued at this point in time, given the overall developments globally. But the other factor which has been weighing on Concor is the fact that now the divestment which was supposed to go through, and Adani Group was supposed to be one of the bidders, the main contenders for Concor, that seems a little iffy at this point in time. Although Adani Port CEO said that if there is any way, the current focus is on deleveraging right now, but if in any way they are able to manage their debt in such a way that it can still account for the acquisition, then probably they will go for it. But for now, the priority clearly remains on deleveraging Adani Port's debt. So the divestment appears to be slightly on the back foot for now, at least one of the main contenders. So that is also a factor which is weighing on sentiment for Concor. In addition, you have competition from the private players now beginning to heat up a little bit. And even though Adani Ports is not so much in the fray as it was till some time back, it continues to invest in logistics, especially at Mundra. And the last time, according to Moneycontrol Pro, when Adani Ports had done that, it had led to market share loss for Container Corporation. So this is these are some of the concerns that seem to be weighing down the Concor stock at this point.
On the flip side, Santo, Concor ने पिछले बार ये कहा था कि वो अब एक सीमेंट क्लिंकर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एक्टिवेट करेंगे, and a whole host of new products will be transported via rail logistics. Obviously गवर्नमेंट का काफ़ी फोकस है इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन पे, डेडिकेटेड फ्रेट कॉरिडोर पे, तो शॉर्ट टर्म में विद अदानी और विदाउट अदानी, विद स्ट्रेटेजिक डाइवेस्टमेंट और विदाउट स्ट्रेटेजिक डाइवेस्टमेंट, आई थिंक कंपनी इज वर्किंग हार्ड टू इम्प्रूव द ओवरऑल वॉल्यूम्स. So let's see how really does the needle move for this particular railway counter. But Santo, markets are giving you a cold, but I think the weather is hot. If you look at the IMD forecast, तो आपको ये पता चलेगा कि गर्मी बहुत जोरों से आने वाली है. इस समर में एक्सपेक्टेशन ये है कि नॉर्मल एवरेज से लगभग 3 डिग्री टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा होगा. In fact, in the month of March, IMD predicts that the temperatures will rise to 37 degrees on an average across India, and the western Indian parts will expect heat wave. और heat wave की जब बात आती है तो obviously आप सोचते हैं थोड़ा cool, सोचते हैं एयर कंडीशनर, सोचते हैं आप एयर कंफर्टर्स. आज अगर हम देखें तो वोल्टास, सिम्फनी, ब्लू स्टार जैसे एयर कंडीशनिंग स्टॉक्स और एयर कूलर स्टॉक्स फोकस में थे. मार्केट में इतनी बड़ी सेलिंग के बावजूद वोल्टास लगभग डेज हाई पे बंद हुआ, सिम्फनी डेज हाई पे बंद हुआ, और ब्लू स्टार की भी बात करें तो यहाँ मोमेंटम ज़बरदस्त था. एक्सपेक्टेशन ब्रोकरेजेस की ये है कि बिकॉज ऑफ द हीट वेव दिस टाइम देयर कुड बी प्राइस हाइक्स, देयर विल बी गेन इन वॉल्यूम्स, एंड देयर कुड बी इंक्रीज डिमांड्स ऑफ एयर कंडीशनर्स. पिछली सीजन इतनी खास नहीं रही थी. पिछली सीजन में बिकॉज ऑफ कमोडिटी कॉस्ट अ लॉट ऑफ प्राइस हाइक वाज लैगिंग, and this time probably companies are in a position to hike prices. तो सैंटो शायद अब वोल्टास में आपको अपटिक आता हुआ दिखाई पड़ेगा. जेफरीज की आज एक बाय रिपोर्ट आई थी, टारगेट था 1050, एंड इफ यू लुक एट द लास्ट 12 months वोल्टास शेयर्स आर डाउन 27%. ऑन अ वैल्यूएशन बेसिस कंफर्ट है. और अगर हम सिम्फनी और ब्लू स्टार की बात करें तो उन्होंने इस पीरियड में लास्ट 1 year में पॉजिटिव रिटर्न जनरेट किया है. तो एक्सपेक्टेशन ये होगा कि वोल्टास भी इस साल आपको अच्छा रिटर्न दे, क्योंकि समर सीजन काफी हॉट होने वाला है.
Fairly good comeback by Voltas after falling below 800 mark, and I guess that would have also been helped by the fact that the Life Insurance Corporation has been a steady buyer in the stock of late. It has increased its holding in the stock by another couple of percentage points, so that has also partly helped. But in the case of Voltas, as for other air conditioner companies as well, the competition has been pretty intense, and with Voltas, clearly the trade-off has been between margins and market share. That's where it keeps fluctuating from quarter to quarter. The numbers weren't all that great, but I guess it does look, going by the way the price has moved from below 800 levels, maybe temporarily the stock may have bottomed out, but Yatin, I would still be a little skeptical on whether this uptrend can sustain.
Absolutely.
And last stock on our watch list, Tata Power. This is something we had discussed yesterday also. Now, yesterday there was a lot of action seen in power stocks after the government's notification to power companies using imported coal that they should operate at full capacity during the summer. And yesterday shares like Tata Power, NTPC, JSW Energy, all of these rallied. Tata Power today strangely is down 2%, and the company's CEO Praveer Sinha was there on CNBC TV 18 this morning, and all that he said is pretty much positive. And he said that largely that the coal prices mainly, which has been a major bugbear for power companies in general, that is likely to fall below $200 from, this was as high as about $300 per ton last year. Also, the tariffs will be on a cost plus basis, which means that whatever higher costs the companies may have to incur, those they can recoup, and there is also provision to sell the excess power on power exchanges. So, all in all, it seems a big positive. Market should have been excited, but we are not seeing that. What could be the reason?
I think this is like a temporary order, Santo. पिछली बार जब ऑर्डर आया था तो कॉम्पनसेशन मिला था टाटा पावर को कॉस्ट प्लस बेसिस पे, क्योंकि मुंद्रा इज अ लॉस मेकिंग यूनिट. द मोर पावर यू प्रोड्यूस, द मोर लॉसेज यू गेट. बट बिकॉज द इमरजेंसी क्लॉज इज रिवोक्ड, कॉस्ट प्लस बेसिस पे सरकार कॉम्पनसेशन देती है, और मार्केट का यही होप था कि अदानी पावर और टाटा पावर के मुंद्रा पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स को अगर इम्पोर्टेड कोल लाने दिया जाए ज़्यादा क्वांटिटी में और ज़्यादा प्रोडक्शन किया जाए कॉस्ट प्लस बेसिस पे, तो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इन प्लांट्स की वापस आती हुई दिखाई पड़ेगी. तो एग्जैक्टली यही हुआ. होपफुली अगर हम देखें तो ये समर सीजन में तो शायद वो पैसा कमा पाएंगे सैंटो, बट दिस इज़ ओनली अ 4 month फिनोमिनन. यूजुअली बाकी के 8 महीने जो है वो कंपनी को मुंद्रा पावर प्लांट पे लॉसेज ही बेयर करने पड़ते हैं. इट्स अ लॉन्ग ड्रॉन लीगल इशू, बट लेट्स सी हाउ रियली डज दिस समर सीजन पैन आउट फॉर the power companies and the AC companies.
Well, and on that note, it's a wrap on this episode of Closing Bell. Thank you for watching.
जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
We'll be back with you again at 9 AM tomorrow. In the meantime, for all news, views, analysis, stay logged on to moneycontrol.com.